Okay. I also want to.
So part two, August 15th.
Yes, part two. After Rob froze and then come back to life. All right.
Come back to life. Yeah.
I think, you know, there's a couple of reasons. As I'm thinking about it, I think that if it's if it's something where somebody is not paying into it, then there's probably going to be a lot of people who are then just going to come and not participate.
Yep.
I just think, and I think that part of, especially at the like now, or I think anytime, I think if it's a community where people are coming who really want to be there, because if you have to pay value, and even if it's like $10 a month, I mean, that's still right. That's in New York, that's probably one smoothie. Around here, I might be able to get
get two, one and a half.
We could change it from ice cream to smoothies. It's probably
one smoothie. The cost is one smoothie a month, and actually, that's not a bad way, because then it could be like $7 to $12, or four. You could be in Costa Rica and it's two.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's better. It's actually better than ice cream, because nobody wants to give up their ice cream, for anything. But I can give up a smoothie.
You're like, I'll pass on the smoothie today.
All right, I'll give up one smoothie a month. Yeah, I can. That's doable. So,
sure.
So that I think that's one thing. Is like really like if somebody's putting in value, then they're going to want to get value out of it, and that means they're going to participate, and they're not going to pay unless there's really is value coming from it. And I think that's the only thing that's really going to make it grow. And make it work. So that's number one. And number two is, it's like you mentioned a little bit with, Cardano before, but like the idea is the money isn't being paid to some like third party centralized, platform owner, right? People are putting in money, and then people are doing quests and facilitating the community, and then getting paid back themselves, right? There's not like somebody that money's just going up the ladder to. So, that's my thought.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's a great way to do it. I would love to pay a smoothie a month to HSC.
Yeah.
And I think that then we go on a real safari. Because then we get into sort of accounting, like, so with those community primitives, like if there are dues, then there needs to be like accounting and financial stuff, which can be done. There's this thing, what is it called? Open Collective. Basically just open books, and it's just, or in Notion, you just have an open spreadsheet. It's just like, these are all the people that paid this month, and these are all the things that came out this month.
Yeah.
And then it's transparent. It's not like someone's running off with a kitty. It's just, and then it's, I mean, it's skin in the game in a certain way, or like, oh, is that the value? It just, the conversations that we have is a lot better. And then we've got, there's, if there's 10 of us and we all put in, 10, a smoothie, 7 to, we get like 70 to 120 bucks a month, and that's enough to say, okay, where do we put it? Do we save it up? Do we donate it? Do we, I would love for it to go towards like the running of the thing, like having Zoom, like we're using Zoom right now. We're using Notion right now. Like the payment of the, like our
overhead.
Our house. Yeah, our overhead. Like what is our overhead? I'm gonna ask ChatGPT.
No, that's it. I mean, I think that's great. That's what the community could decide. It's like, all right, hey, let's just first, let's just pay the bills first, and then what do we do?
And that gets us into governance. Then the community decides. Then we get into communal discussions and decision makings. I mean, it definitely, I think it will help us move towards sort of activity and doing, but then all of a sudden we have to have like written down goals, like what is our goal, and are we making it, and people make a commitment and just say, oh yeah, I will commit to a smoothie for a year. And it's just like, okay, we've got this sort of runway, and it's just like, what am I getting with my, giving up my smoothie? Like, what do I get? And it would be
Yeah.
great if I like got access to the Zoom room, which is a relatively easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Or like these digital tools. It'd be great. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a member of the thing, and then I could put my contributions. It's like, oh yeah, I use this, and then I can say, oh yeah, like then the balance sheet of it kind of works. I don't know, it
Yeah.
might be over, but that would be a value to me. Like if we as HSC owned a Zoom room, and I knew that uh, I could use it or some other digital tool like
Yeah.
Notion, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Exactly. Or Google Workspace, there's like I just had to sign up for Google Workspace, the paid plan, because I really needed to switch my email hosts. And now
Yeah,
you get, like Google Meet, right? It's just like
yeah,
I'm paying for Google Meet essentially already, even though I didn't, want to. So like,
yeah,
um, but that's not the contribution line. I'm just bringing this up because that's uh, it could almost at a certain point have its own kind of database, but like there's a software tech sharing thing, right? So like, but I love the idea of like HSC having it that like that's the first way, like, hey, let's just share these things with each other.
yeah,
But here it's like I'm saying like, hey, I want some analytics software. It could definitely be shared with other people, but it's expensive, right?
right,
So I just put that out there.
right.
But the other thing about what you're saying, just to tack onto it, I lost it a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
It was the oh no, is that the community can also decide, like if we all put in our smoothie, we can also say, well, okay, we want to like give smoothies back to the people who are doing HSC quests,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So in other words, I might give, 10, I might put in my smoothie, and then I'm going to take on like, the, you know, email marketing platform or developing the onboarding or I'm going to take on like the accounting and putting that together, right? That's
yeah,
something that needs to be done. And then I'm going to get paid, 30 or 40 smoothies a month.
yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah,
going to designate that somebody, gets that not only in like sort of in, what do they get in tokens? What do they get in actual, in smoothies
yeah,
or dollars,
yeah.
right?
That's
So,
right. Yeah,
so somebody can say, hey, right, I have some time that I could contribute. I like maybe I don't want to, totally I'm happy about giving, up, one smoothie a month, but I have time to contribute. So now I'm going to give up my smoothie, but I'm going to get 3 back.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna get three back exactly. So, and then there is this idea of the smoothie, which is a hard external value, because it's like, yeah, it's external. It's a something that I pay for on an open market, and then an internal value, and that comes from emissions. I think that that's like one of those things where you just create it and then you divvy it out on some emission schedule, whether it's like, you get yeah, I mean, it gets into like, okay, because people are like trying to sell or do a min swap of, do a Uniswap or whatever token for like our governance token, and people are paying for it. It's like 3 cents a token, but and it's just ridiculous. It's like, no, this is meant to be. This isn't a security. This isn't a thing. It's a contributor token,
Yeah.
and um, so like, yeah, that doing that, all that tokenomics of like, okay, if you've paid a smoothie, then you get some of these contributor tokens on some scheduled basis. So it's like, oh yeah, you get one a
Yeah.
day. Like you pay your smoothie once a month, and then one a day you get one of these tokens. And
Yeah.
that when you do quests, then you can get a portion in a smoothie up to a certain amount, because you don't want to just have somebody like come in and do all the
Yeah. Yeah.
quests and all the
Yeah.
smoothies
Yeah.
up to a certain amount or up to a certain ratio. Um, Meaning like, yeah, this is fun.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
actually
up to a
really
certain
fun.
amount,
This
exactly.
is
And
the
then the
most,
rest, I think that
yeah,
that's I like the community or a co-op token. But I think that's maybe the beauty of having that token. yeah,
Yeah.
you have the money, so that way you're paying bills. You can, right, offer some of that.
Yeah.
We can, and you have the community token, right, which then can just go into the right. Could at a certain point be like, a means of currency exchange. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Well,
I need copy editing help from Nyla. Hey, I've got, whatever, 50 co-op tokens.
yeah.
So I'm gonna give those to Nyla. And she's
Yeah.
gonna help me for, for however
Yeah.
long.
And
And now Nyla has
and
those tokens, and then she can use them for
exactly. And we can also see that Nyla, if she collects a bunch of these co-op tokens, then we can see it's like, oh wow, this person's doing a lot of work in this fucking co-op. Like that has reputation and
yeah.
that has value. And so, and especially if we do like cool visualizations, we can say, oh wow, look at all the people, like we can see it it becomes visual, it becomes knowledge and not just data, not just information, but becomes like knowledge and wisdom. You're like, oh, we can see the patterns and do all this sort of stuff. This is my
Yeah.
favorite. This is my favorite tokenomics discussion for sure because it's real and we have a playground to fuck around with it. You
Yeah.
know, we we that has a value to me because I can now because I've had this conversation with you, a friend that I resonate with. Um, that now I can have this conversation with other people that I may not resonate so well with, that I've already gone through and I've kind of established some stuff. And then so that when the buffeting comes, because a lot of this, you get buffeted, like people push back, people are like, don't want to hear it or, whatever, or you're not, I can't sometimes, speak out the things like I want to say, quickly
Mhm.
enough. Like if I pause in some meetings, people around just fucking talk right over you. They're just, you're done. Anyway, so that has a value to me, and I do appreciate it because I do think that tokenomics and basically building an economy is a very real and necessary sort of skill to make a robust community, to make a
Yeah.
robust, resilient community.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. And so, uh,
One more. I gotta get dinner prepared. So I gotta get to the grocery store stuff. But yeah, let's we do want to, I don't want to put too much of a time crunch on us, but
no, I hear you. I mean, we've been, yeah, we've been at it. Look, it's exciting. I mean, you and I, we could talk about this. We could, go on
we
and on.
can talk about it forever. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And at your own, right? This I just started filling out, but this is like that knowledge base, right? Which you and I have talked about a lot. So I don't have to explain kind of what it is, but
Sure.
right. And here's something I put in. The format might change or whatnot, but it's like, okay, here's something I put in. Okay, I did a bunch of research on learning management, online courses, and so like these are all my,
Oh.
these are like real, real notes. This is saying like I tried this, right. I pulled this directly from my notes, so I might need to go through it more and sort of like say, hey, like recommendations
Sure.
or whatever. But like I tried this platform, I built something on this platform, I tried this platform, right? And so, and right, and now what you can do is you can go in and like add those ones that you know about. And so then when
Yeah.
somebody like I did at some point was like, okay, now I have a client, they want to put on online courses and we need to do that somehow. Where do I start? I know we start at the internet or whatever, but here, like
Oh my God. Yeah.
it's a
This
real
would be
thing.
cool. Yeah. Yeah. And this would be something that would be just great. And this can be kind of a premium thing. It's just like, yeah, if you haven't paid your smoothie, then you don't have access to this because
Yeah,
it it is because as it becomes curated, like it feels like a premium like thing because it's like, oh yeah, I want to have access.
I think it's
It's
part
just a
of it.
business model. I think
Yeah,
it's a business model thing.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Right. This is like a good, like, I'm putting in stuff that, right, that I like, right, templates, things like that, right, that I have
Yeah.
come up with over a long period of time and learn, I'm not putting in just like the crap that I had thrown on something. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is something I had to, I learned about and
You
worked on
know,
different jobs and like, and I created this template for myself, but like
yeah,
somebody could just grab this and fucking go, and look like
yeah,
a star.
yeah, exactly. And so this gets us into intellectual property rights and intellectual, property sort of stuff. Um, and Gumroad, I think is a real. Are you familiar with Gumroad?
I am, yeah.
So like that's how it started. It's just like somebody had a template. Actually, his was a an icon of a pencil. And he's just like, how do I sell this icon? I spent all afternoon working it. Like I want some money from it. I just want a couple bucks, but how do I do it? And he was just like, holy shit. All these other services are requiring all this setup, all these fees. It's just going to eat into my profits. It's like, I have to set up this giant thing. It goes through all this stuff. It's just like, what's the most simple way to do it? So Gumroad happened. I'm reading that. I've been reading that book. I put it down a little bit,
Oh,
but it's really, really valuable. And if we can think about like Gumroad, because then it has a real value. It's just like you put your template on Gumroad, you know, and you're gonna say, hey, look, it's $25 to get this template. Um, and you can immediately use it to get a client for $10,000. That's like that's the value proposition there. Or you can come to HSC and pay a smoothie a month, and you can get access to this template. You
yeah.
know, um, and that's that's definitely
And that's
one of
the,
the patterns, the
yeah.
business model patterns.
That's the membership model pattern. Yeah, exactly. Is that you pay, right? It's Netflix, right? You
Yeah,
know, I pay, $10 or $15 a month, but I have access to like,
yeah,
all the movies, I want, right? That if I wanted to consume all of those bit by bit, it's going to cost me, if I'm
yeah,
really on a binge month, it'll cost me $100 a month or something.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So here we're saying like, yeah, there's all this stuff it's almost like, and I think that's, the path now is this starting path is just kind of like building it up enough to get that value going. So then at a certain point, a person who's interested in it, who's like, oh yeah, this is something I could use. There's too much value for them not to enter,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah. And it is, I think, a big like I think that's going to be the future of this of the culture of societies, of like bigger things, where we're all sort of called on to be contributors. um we're all called on to do this work of governance. Like we're all putting in and we're all taking out, and we want to know, like, where the energy flow is all going, and so that we can optimize. I mean, these wildfires, like I'm a wildfire refugee. I'm fully a wildfire refugee. Like I left California because of the conditions there. Seeing this thing that happened in Hawaii is devastating, man. It is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
um and we are gonna have, like, the ship is gonna have to get tightened up here. Like I don't think like we're going to be called on to do more and get out of our comfort zone. Like, jobs are shifting. It's not that they're going away. It's just they're shifting. They're going to be different. Like,
Yeah.
and so if we band together and we kind of get our needs met, or start internalizing, sort of knowing what our needs are, uh, and having networks that can do better than if we're alone, if we're solo. That was the other big sort of like reason. It's just like, yeah, I want to know about learning, course management software. And it's like, yeah, I do my research and I write it all down and I have to do all the stuff, but you've done a ton of other stuff. Some of the things I caught that you didn't, but when we work together, it's more valuable resource. Um, and Yeah, that has like it's just the team up value, and then building it into this type of knowledge base. that we can start, working collectively, collective building, co-creating. I think it's valuable. It's definitely cool, and it's definitely more, yeah, it has a different feel than all the other communities that I'm in, like it has a different, like, cool feel, which I really like. Um, and I want to get some folks in here building on this stuff, because now we've got, after this summer, now we've got like a real proposition. It's just like, yeah, you can come, you pay a smoothie, but you get a smoothie, you can contribute to this curated knowledge base, you get all this access. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was awesome. So it's not you like that. So can I use like that?
Sure.
I'm like, okay, I want to use this, what you're saying, as a clip,
Yeah, sure enough. Yeah.
and for like as a promotional clip. Yeah.
I dig it. I dig
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
No, that
I
was,
think,
that was really great. I mean, I think you just, you kind of just like spoke to it all and popped it all out in like, at like 3 minutes max.
yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't take long.
Yeah, but that's really
All
great.
right.
So, yeah, so thank you. I thank you for showing up, because I'm, like in the same way, I'm excited about this. There's like a thing now, it
Yes,
doesn't have to start complex,
it's
we
true.
build it, but it's like, we're tracking value now,
Yeah.
people show up, they get their little thing. So the question is, so I still have some more work I want to do for next week. The question is, when do I sort of like, put it out and say, all right, people, like now it's ready. So that's a question that can stay open. The question also is like, for the next week, like, are there any quests? Are there anything where you're like, oh, I want to work on that, or I want to, like, work on the Notion thing? No, as always, no expectations.
Yeah. I still want to wrap up. I want to wrap up the, and this could be, now that I see where it fits and the value it is, like I want to build a tool and template for social media project management. Like I think we can sort of take that and create a template or something that's reusable, and then like a closing report, that says, oh, here's how the template, this is where this template came from. This is, because it is something that all communities need to use. They need that broadcast external communication arm. And that it really can, if it's unplanned or not done correctly, it can just eat up all of the time and be completely it can be really detrimental to a community. A bad social media campaign can be detrimental.
Yeah.
A good social media campaign that is strategized correctly can really be like a boom. Like the people that are doing it correctly are really, really growing and doing it right. And there's all this information about how to do it, but it's still kind of a mystery, simply because, yeah, it's a manual that doesn't come with the software. You just show up with Twitter and you can just go down a real bad rabbit hole.
Yeah. Well, it
But if you
exists. I
get
mean, there's people who, like social media managers and experts, right? They know,
oh yeah,
they have the templates. They know the playbook.
yeah, exactly. But it doesn't come with the software. It's not like you get Twitter and then,
It doesn't
they're
come with
kind
the
of,
software, no.
yeah, yeah.
And it comes, yeah, I think especially with social media, it comes more and more about, it's an expertise, that I like,
Yeah.
by doing it and by learning, oh, okay, this is, yeah. So there's a lot there. Yeah,
So
that's cool. We
that's
can
the
talk.
quest that I'm trying to get to. And I can. I've got, like you saw in the beginning, I've got a ton of other little things going on. But it it for the next couple of weeks, we're still in a zone where I don't, my responsibilities are a little bit less because I'm not on a project.
Yeah.
So in September, I think our voting stops, I think by the end of September is when my projects will come through. And if I'm funded, then I'm going to be busy. And if I'm not funded, then, I'll be looking for other projects.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of,
yeah. All right, cool. That's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. Go with that, go with your flow. I mean, I don't know that is from I don't know that like coming up with a social media template is a like a direct like starting project for getting HSC off the ground.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're like, oh, well, it'd be better if you wanted to do something else. So yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, I think that HSC wants to start to go on social. Zoe is kind of already committed to helping with that.
Yeah.
You could jump in on that group and then templatize, the thing that
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, that
be
actually, it's more sort of the win part, because it's a win to like put something in the knowledge base. But for me, it's some like integrating that, that project is like, it's just sort of a hanging bit that I just am like, okay, I want to, complete, so that it's not just sort of out there in some fashion.
yeah.
And I need, because I'm going to go to the next community and say, look, let's have like a real social media campaign, and it's going to have a calendar, and it's going to have a production flow of like, okay, here's the idea, and then here's somebody to write it, and here's somebody to check it off. And I mean, you've got it. It's just that in that project they didn't use it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that I just want to have that sort of in my pocket. There's yeah. So for
sure.
other
For sure.
communities, including this one.
Well, you can think it, yeah, for sure. I mean, you think about, right? Because and actually, like, I don't know, the content like has started to flow like out of
Nice.
me, like when I was writing that like money, email, I
Yeah.
had like 5, 6, 7 other ideas. I'm like, oh, okay, I like put them all in the document. I feel like if there's there's something, if what you, well, that's what it is, right? I mean, we said if your offering is clear, then the content flow. If your offering is really clear, if it's in alignment, if it's set, then the content, if it's coming from you and your passion, right? Then the content should start to flow. And so, yeah, I mean, I wonder if Zoe's back. Zoe's back, I think middle or maybe middle of September. She's in Korea now, and she was in California. I think latest middle of September, and then it might be something like that the three of us can team up on.
That'd be great. That'd be super great.
I think she'd be super. I should be delighted if somebody else was doing the sort of like project management and workflow.
Yeah, documenting. It's sort of like just somebody that's there and wants to like like needs what you're saying and writes it down for you is like a great thing.
Yeah.
That is so happy making, like it's just like, yeah, like just like writing, you wrote down those things about like, here's the minimum viable community. Like that to me is like a super win. Like I love that. I think that's super great because it's sort of like, oh, the effort that I'm putting in, and it is effort. It's tough, like like there's things that go on, and what I come up with, if you're like, oh, it's valuable and this is a good thing, it's like a seed that you see growing, and that I think people are really into. It's like here you can plant some seeds, and they will grow.
Yeah, and you can take that and you could pop something like that into the into the knowledge base.
Exactly.
Right. So anything that you want to put in there, but I agree that social media sort of like workflow template has value. I would say for the next couple of weeks, and I think let's just do it how it's designed to be done for the next couple of weeks. If there's something you want to work on, there are already quests, specific quests that I put in, in the quests, spreadsheet, and B, anything where you're like, oh, this, I mean, what we're doing, right? So if there's anything like, oh, this could be a value to getting HSC going, I'm going to put in a quest, and then I'm going to self-assign. Boom.
Sure. Yeah. That's that's a good. Yeah, we'll see how that goes, and that might be. Yeah, like getting one's brain to think in terms of that. It's like, oh yeah, this is a quest. And it's like, where does this quest fit? And, and then it would be cool, like the whole idea of a proposed quest. It's like, yeah, I kind of think this is one.
Yeah.
Like if you could have a quest endorser, it's just like, oh, that's sweet, that's sweet, that's sweet. It's like, I don't, whatever without that one. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like there's a way of like getting validation
Yeah,
from the
well,
community
I mean,
members.
that's I think in plenty of other, well, it's like you're in that kind of thing in the Catalyst, project. People are voting on it. Haifa, that's all already set up and operating. In the Haifa DAO is like somebody says, oh, there's this thing I'm seeing that could be that's of value for the DAO. So I'm going to put in a quest proposal. This is how much I think I should get paid for it. This much in fiat, this much in Haifa tokens, and people then vote on it. I think now, I think the way to start it now with again with we who are here is like forget the like the it's one of those things where there's still kind of a proposal, but it's like in this very the most simple way, meaning like I mean, you just put in a quest and say, hey, I'm going to self-assign it. Hey, Rob, check this out. What do you think? I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Go for it.
Yeah.
Like it could be that easy, right? But then once you get to 20,
Sure.
once you get to 30,
Yeah, exactly.
But then you have more resources to put in to create.
Yeah.
Like right now, we don't have to keep it as simple as
the
possible,
scaling.
as long as possible.
Yeah, and I think that's good. I think that we who are here kind of we feel like we've got ownership, so it's not like, oh, it's stepping on toes, or like, oh, there's a form and fill it out a triplicate, and there's a process. It's like, oh no, it can be kind of, but the way we establish our working together can be such a way that it scales in the proper way. So that's to be said.
Yes, sir. Perfectly said.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, my man. I'll leave it like that. Thanks so much. Super, super groovy. Always good to connect. And I'll see you later. Yeah, let's try to it's Tuesday now. Maybe Wednesdays and Thursdays are pretty busy. But Friday, let's try to connect before the end of the week. Let's try to get back to our old schedule.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Sounds perfect. All right. Yeah. All right, man. Have a good rest of your night.
Yep. Bye.
Cheers. Bye, everybody.